Hi, Pat the podcast editor here. What is your current marketing company really doing for you? It's easy to stay with one company when it's what you're used to. But today Dan and Lloyd are discussing the benefits of letting a fresh company take the reins, rather than playing it safe and sticking with what you know.
So, we worked with ABC Marketing last year, and they didn't set anything on fire, so let's just carry on doing this rubbish thing.
Now, change doesn't have to be a bad thing. So we're also going to hear about the telltale signs that your current marketing company just might not be cutting it anymore.
Another alarm bell that your current marketing agency isn't a good one is that they're still doing the same stuff they've done for years. I think especially in the marketing world, everything advances so quickly. Like every day, there's new features for social platforms. There's new ways things work.
So what can a change in marketing company do for you? Stay tuned to find out. Right, let's get going. This is episode 64 of the Business Anchors podcast.
We're just a couple of business anchors. Welcome to the Business Anchors podcast. This jingle is slightly too long. This jingle is slightly too long.
Why do listeners need to convince their company to work with a good marketing agency? Surely they're already working with a good marketing agency, Lloyd.
Why did it take you 4 times to answer that question? Why is this the 4th take?
I don't know, but hopefully that's the good one.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to raise that question. I don't really know what I'm saying. I'm going to give you a better question that I think is going to be even more relevant to this episode. Why do listeners need to convince their company to work with any new supplier? Surely there's nothing wrong with anyone they've ever worked with.
That is a good question.
Yeah. I think, just wanted to say that because we're talking about working with a new marketing agency, but I think the bigger question,
the broader kind of subject,
is like, why are you working with who you're working with? Not in a horrible way, like if they're not good enough, kick them out the door.
Yeah.
But as in, why do a lot of businesses not have a better culture of trying to make sure they're partnering with the best possible people to work with, rather than being like, so we worked with ABC Marketing last year, and they didn't set anything on fire, so let's just carry on doing this rubbish thing.
I think the answer to that is because it's easier.
Yeah.
It's easier to just stay with who you've worked with for all these years, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think, again, I'm like saying this to myself because what you're really good at is being the guy who constantly questions everything. And it's really annoying sometimes because it's nice to stay in your comfort zone. But I think, like you say, it's really important to constantly question, is this the best supplier? And we've done it in the past. We've looked at, suppliers we've got and thought, are they actually good, or are we just using them because it's easier to use them?
You said, I'm good at asking questions. And I do think that one of my strengths is I question everything. But I think I'm guilty of this. We work with partners, and it can be anything from someone who's cleaning your office to like a strategic partner, something that's very core within your business that's you spend a lot of money on. It can be anything, but it's very hard. There's the really bad end that's like that classic, we've always worked with them, and that's literally the justification.
Yeah.
And then there's what I think most of us do, which is like, it's easier to just keep working with this company and they've been all right. Like they haven't done anything wrong.
Also, you don't know what you don't know. So you may think ABC Marketing, they're doing your marketing and it seems to be going well, but you don't know that could be 100 times better if you used XYZ marketing.
Yeah. And I think a culture within your business of like improvements, efficiencies, and a culture of high performance is the start of this.
How do you, out of interest, sorry to interrupt, how do you make that culture happen? Like, how are we going to make everyone try to constantly improve stuff? Because even this week I was having a conversation with someone in the team talking about, we had this meeting to try and improve these processes. And I was like, yes, do more of that. But how are we going to make people do it?
I think it's anything you can to try and make sure that people realise that's how we should all be working. But I think it's the day-to-day thing that build the culture. So day-to-day, it starts with us asking more questions. We need to constantly be asking.
Why are you doing that?
We're working with that makeup artist again.
Why?
We've worked with him or her for the last 5 shoots. Have we looked into other options that might be better value or might be better suited to this project? And I think it starts with asking questions of ourselves, not just for suppliers. We've been doing this like this for 6 months. have we thought about doing it in this different way that might save us money or might be more efficient? Or
You're
might
definitely
get us
that
to a better...
annoying guy that always asks that. I feel like sometimes I've got this plan in my head and then you're there questioning it, but it does help you get better supplies, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Because the hard thing is, like, in any business, everyone has their stuff that they're supposed to be doing, that they're responsible for. And then then there's this extra thing of, rather than just sticking with this graphic designer we've been working with, I could actually spend the next couple of weeks contacting other people, seeing, like, is the pricing kind of in line with what we're looking at? Is the quality in line with what we're working with to make sure we're getting good value? And I do think it's not all about just sacking off people you're working with and being like, found a better option, because I think that's dangerous too. But I think it's being aware of the market and kind of looking, because you could look at it and go, oh, we really like Timmy, who does our window cleaning. But each year we just check that what other people are doing. And then we can say to Timmy, we noticed your prices are double everyone else's, and we really want to carry on working with you, but we need to get your pricing closer to what everyone else is charging.
That's what I was going to ask you. How do you know if Timmy's window cleaning or ABC Marketing are doing a good job or not? Because this episode's about find a good marketing agency or supplier. How do you actually know?
I think the first thing, let's go back to the marketing agency, because that's what we know and what we do. I think, but it's really appropriate for anything, any supplier. I think the first thing you've got to think, is the agency achieving what they said they would achieve for us, or doing what they said they would do? Because that's really simple to look at. I would have a big caveat, though.
Go on.
It's something we've experienced, and I'm sure other agencies have experienced.
I know what you're going to say.
First, make sure you've done your part of the bargain. So for us to work effectively as a marketing agency for a business and get them the best results we can, basically at the start we're going, right, we'll do all this stuff. What we need from you is A, B, C, D, and we need that communicated at this time so we can do this brilliant stuff. And I think when you're looking at new suppliers, you've got to be really honest with yourself. If the results aren't what you want, think, actually, if I was them and I was trying to do the best job, have we been giving them everything they need to get those results? And I think a lot of the time, because everyone's busy, everyone has loads of different things to sort out and do. A lot of the time you don't. You kind of start it off and you're really good in the first week, and then you just go, oh yeah, we'll just let them
a real
carry
life
on with
example of this that's happening currently. I'm not
relatable.
gonna name clients or anything, but in our business, a struggle at the moment is getting things like feedback when we want it to stick to timelines and things. I think we're constantly for producing videos, we're writing scripts, we're sourcing actors, we're sourcing locations, and we constantly want to get feedback to say, this is the brief, we think we're delivering on it, but what do you think? And trying to get that feedback. Everyone's busy, but that's something that so real life example.
Just make sure, I suppose, first step, you want to judge them on what they said they'll do, but make sure you're doing your side. That's the first thing, because maybe you are already working with the best marketing agency you could work with. So first, make sure you're giving them the chance to do their work, because actually, if you don't sort that out,
then you can't moan at them. You can't moan at them if you're not doing your. And
the next agency you work with, you're going to have the same issue. Yeah, because they're going to say, we're going to get you 100 things. Don't know what that means.
Sounds like a good ROI.
And then they're going to go, we've only got you 60 things, because every time we asked you for feedback, you took 2 weeks, so we couldn't work the best we can.
I love
for
our
you.
Technical terminology.
Oh, that's how you work in business, how you judge things, isn't it? Yeah. How many things are you going to get me?
Yeah,
this many things.
I also think people should listen. Do you remember episode 48 that we did?
No, I never remember any of the episodes.
Okay, well, Lloyd, just to remind you, we did an episode called How to Spot a Marketing Agency Catfish. And in that episode, we basically talk about the alarm bells to spot a marketing agency that isn't delivering. So we've literally done an episode. Do you remember that?
Yes. So I remember the title. I never remember anything I've
as an action, if anyone's actually interested in this topic, definitely listen to that, because that will then help you, the first step that you're talking about, realise, is my current marketing agency actually doing a good job or not?
Yeah.
And see those alarm bells to then go to the next stage.
What I do remember about that episode, I remember multiple people online and offline saying, what a great episode, Lloyd. Yeah. So definitely listen to that one after you've listened to this one in its entirety and left us a review.
So what else What else after that then? So you've established that you're doing what you need to do for the marketing agency to do a good job. But what about you've done your bit, but they're not delivering those results? Or like that's one sign that it's not working. What kind of other signs are there that people can think, oh, I should really go and look at?
I think one thing that I think I actually just saw in your notes for this episode, Dan, that I think is a good idea. I think that, are we talking about things that make alarm bells go, oh, maybe we should be looking for other options? I think it's that the decision's been made to continue working with them because they get on really well with the decision maker within your business. Like that's
a classic. It is a
hard
classic
because it's a good thing. Like it's good that they have
strong
good
relationship.
But then once you have that strong relationship, I think sometimes there's obviously bias there of like, well, you know, Timmy from Timmy's marketing agency took us to Wembley to watch that football, and he's really nice, and I go out for beers with him. Really like to work with Timmy. He's not doing a good job, but
I think this is harder than it sounds, though. Right? Imagine you're a marketing manager in a company, and your boss Dave is best mates with Timmy's marketing.
Yeah.
How on earth? Like, this is what this episode's about. How do you convince Timmy to change what he's doing?
I think
like it's not as easy as.
I think at that point you just have to find things that are tangible, data and stuff to put in front of Timmy. So to convince him, I guess not to necessarily change the marketing agency. The first step is your boss is my boss Dave.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Your boss
I forgot
is
my
Dave.
boss's name. Don't do that because that won't be good.
Yeah.
First thing is, I want to really make sure we're doing the best we can in our business. One thing is, I think every so often we should be comparing different suppliers and making sure we're getting a really good deal with our suppliers. I've looked at this. This company says they get these results.
They get 60 things.
Here's some case studies. They get 60 things. And here's a case study where they got 60 things for this business. This other agency, actually, they only say they get 20 things, but they're also 10% of the price. And this is this. So at least give them something tangible to look at, which might excite Dave to go, wow, what, 10% of the price and we still get 20 things?
Well, that sounds great, but I want to ask you a question. I want you to be honest.
Okay.
So say we were working with your best mate who supplies our drinks.
Yeah.
Just a random example.
Yeah.
Your best mate that you've grown up with all your life. And one of our team said, Lloyd, Jonathan's drinks, I've seen that we can get them cheaper and better somewhere else. Here's a case study to show that.
Yeah.
How are you going to feel? Are you really going to then go, okay, see you later, best mate Jonathan that I've known for 20 years?
Well, no, I don't think that's the first place you'd go, but I think that would encourage
you to question it, at
me
least.
to question it and probably speak to my friend and say, I'm under a bit of pressure from the team because we're paying more than a lot of the other suppliers.
Yeah.
So can you either let me know why we are so I can communicate with them, or we need to look at what you're doing for us?
I think just to add to one of the alarm bells before we move on to how you kind of overcome this, another alarm bell that your current marketing agency isn't a good one is that they're still doing the same stuff they've done for years. I think especially in the marketing world, everything advances so quickly. Like every day, there's new features for social platforms. There's new ways things work. So if a marketing company's still doing the same stuff they did years ago, that's a sign that they're really not innovative and growing. And if people did want to keep up to date with the changes, then they should sign up to the Friday Club, Lloyd, which is an email I write every Friday with these updates.
What a great idea!
Yeah,
but I can think of one of our clients where actually I think they were just looking for us. We've worked with them for years, expecting us this year to say, "Do that again." It's working, and we actually proactively said, "Look, we don't think you should be doing the same thing anymore." And I think look out for that. That's a good sign that they're not just doing the same.
Because it would have been
thing.
easier for us to just carry on. Yep, sign up for another year,
exactly.
do the same stuff. But
we were pretty confident they're happy, so they would sign up for another year. Great, we get to work with them for another year. But actually, that's not what's going to get them the best results. So we proactively said, we think we need to change things up and do things differently.
So going back to, they're the alarm bells. We've established, you've got those signs that your marketing agency isn't a good one.
Yeah.
We've spoken a bit about what you can do. We spoke about getting evidence and presenting it to your manager or whoever that is. What other, so once you've done that, like I've come to you and said, current marketing agency doesn't look like doing that great a job. Here's a case study for another marketing agency that's good. I think we should be going with them. Like, what do you do after that? Because that's not going to instantly convince. I think it's a longer process than that, isn't it, to convince?
Well, I think you've got a lot of notes on this part of the podcast, in our podcast notes, and a lot of good things to say. So I actually think you'd be good at answering this question.
So thanks for asking, Lloyd.
That's all right.
So I break it down to a few steps.
Oh, that's great.
Cool. So the first one, which you said earlier, is to do your research to understand what good is. If you're going to your line manager, CEO, and saying, don't think our marketing company's doing a good job, that's not good enough. You need tangible evidence. And to get that evidence, you can use Google. Look at what is the average kind of return on investment companies would get from a marketing agency?
I think it's 60 things.
It's 60 things, yeah.
Do your own research though,
And also try and speak to other marketing companies to... It'd be great if you were friend or had someone who's on the inside who can give you real info on what kind of results you get, and give yourself a basis for understanding what is a good result from a marketing company.
Because that allows you to ask the tough questions when you're looking for people, if you know kind of what's good before you go into it.
And then once you've got that evidence, step 2, I'd actually put a bit of some kind of presentation together or some kind of notes to go to your CEO to present to them. And I know you may be listening thinking, oh, that's effort. This is going to, it's easier to just stick with the current one. I think, doing things like that will show that you're really adding value to the business. I think if any of our team came to us and presented and they have actually, we've had things with our server, improving that. Lucas is...
Do you know what? This excites me more than it should. If anyone...
You're sad.
Yeah, no, but it does. If anyone comes up to me and I haven't asked them to do it, but they're like, I think we could do better with this thing that you haven't asked about. I basically, that's the best day of my week. And this excites me more.
It does, doesn't it? Because then it feels like the team is really adding value to the business.
Yeah.
And I genuinely have seen our team doing this in action. They've had meetings without us, spoken about shit stuff we're doing, or not shit stuff, but stuff we could improve, and then come back to us.
Basically,
and it's oh my God,
spoken about shit processes that we put in place when it was smaller and how better it could be. Yeah. And then suggesting, I think we should do that. Yeah. And that's better than things.
So exactly. So get that evidence or get your findings or your suggestions, then present that to whoever's in charge basically and say, and hopefully if they're a good business owner or CEO, they'll be impressed like we are and really value that.
They might not think it's the best thing ever and better than anything they've ever experienced like I do, but it's ultimately making their life easier because they don't have to then have another thing to think about. They've got their team who are presenting that to them. Yeah. So present your evidence, present your suggestions. Everyone higher up in the business hierarchy than your position, whatever position you are, has goals and things they have to achieve to impress the next person in the hierarchy. If you're suggesting any way to improve anything where that person hasn't had to do anything, you're just I'm looking into this and this is going to make things better. I'm sorry to go on about it.
Lloyd, you're getting really excited about this really tiny thing.
When our team do it, it's so exciting. I really like it.
So you've presented your evidence. I think that's not good enough. Because we're all busy.
But I really like it.
No, that's not good. No, a lot of people are busy and oh, that's great. The next thing you need to do is follow up. You need to be, you've presented that and they'll probably go, brilliant, this is really exciting, great. Yeah, this is great. And then they'll be like, I've got a million things to do. Actually follow up.
Are you describing me?
I'm describing you, Lloyd. Yeah. You do have a million things to do. I still want you to make that phone call to the bank that you haven't made yet, by the way. But yeah, so follow up, actually keep messaging. And I have to do this with Lloyd a lot because he's so busy. I send him a Slack message or speak to him and say, can you do this thing? And he's like, yeah. And he never does it. So I have to keep following up. But when I keep following up... Thank you for saying
busy and not shit.
Yeah. When I keep following up, eventually you do some good things that I ask you to do. So yeah, keep following up. And then my final step was if you followed up and presented your evidence and they just haven't done anything about it and they don't care about your opinion, I'm saying the final step is find a new job.
Bloody hell.
Well, I mean, if you're really adding value, you know how excited we get, like we just said. Imagine if we were just saying, "Yeah, that sounds great. Get back to your job and stop trying to add value."
Yeah, that sounds great, but carry on doing it the shit way.
Yeah. Which
I suppose
I
that
think
is
it's
a
not a
sign.
good culture if you're in a company
if that's consistent, that you go with improvements, suggest improvements, and you kind of get shut down. I suppose you got to be open to the fact sometimes your improvements won't be a good idea.
That's a good point.
I think if it's consistent, and not that they won't be a good idea, but
maybe they're not the best
with
approach.
Other context and things, it's kind of like, actually, maybe that's not. But if, say, you do this 6 times and every time it's like, great chat, Stephen. Now don't talk to me about this again and get back to your job.
Yeah.
Then, like you're saying, that's evidence that you can provide more value elsewhere.
I honestly
people
think
will
there's multiple reasons why doing this is such a good idea. Thinking about it, one, like we've said, you're adding value to the business, but 2, you're really demonstrating you as an employee what you're adding to the business. And I think that's if we continuously had a certain person or people coming to us with suggestions to improve and actioning it, I'd say those people are the most likely to be in line for growing within the business and being promoted.
Definitely.
And because I think it's go and do it, because we get excited by it. I think also, like people listening to this, sometimes I get messages on LinkedIn saying, that really sparked an idea and I've done this thing. I think this one action, if you're in your current role within your company or your business and you're not thinking of ways to improve it and presenting it to the powers that be, then do that. Like, schedule some time. I think
there's a very clear difference in people in all businesses of people that just do what they have been asked to do.
Yeah.
And by the way, that can be great.
Yeah.
Like, you're just doing your job well.
Yeah.
And then there's the next level where it's like doing that and then
doing
constantly
more.
suggesting how things can be improved and helping you do that. And that obviously gets noticed and it would help you get to a higher level job.
If that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed this episode. Did you have anything more you wanted to talk about on this topic, Lloyd?
I'm just feeling very happy and good.
Yeah, because we talked about something that we get excited about.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, but I think we should probably talk about that just together, how happy I am rather than on the podcast. But probably nothing relevant to this.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Oh, we've actually had some really good reviews lately.
Yes.
Just shout out to Helen Collins. Did you see that one?
HC? No.
I mentioned her in the Friday Club this week. She, off her own back, did a really nice review and just said nice things. And I read it and I was like, that really made me feel good.
Well, thank you, Helen Collins.
If there's anyone else, if you do enjoy this, please do leave a review, because it does help people who are thinking, is this something I could listen to? They might see your review and think, I'm actually going to listen to it.
By the way, if you're in Nigeria at the moment, thank you, because we charted in the Nigerian Marketing Podcast for the first time. So thank you for listening.
Do you know where we currently charted this week in the world, Lloyd?
No.
Marketing? Portugal.
Oh, nice.
So if you're in Portugal, thanks.
To be honest, we love all the countries. Thank you for listening, guys. And we will see you next week for episode 65 of the Business Anchors podcast.
See you then.